It's another Thunder Thursday at News OK Live. I'm sports editor Mike Sherman of the Oklahoman, joined by our Thunder beat writers from the Magic Kingdom, somewhere in Orlando, Florida, Thunder beat writer Darnell Mayberry, and from his palatial downtown apartment in Oklahoma City, other Thunder beat writer Anthony Slater. Of course, Thunder. Go ahead, Anthony.
I was going to say, I actually call my house the Magic Kingdom, so I thought you were talking about me first.
Thunder Thursdays are brought to you by our good friends at Wheeler Chevrolet. Take that drive down I-40, save yourself some time and money. Gentlemen, the sport as we know it, our game, as David Stern called it, is hostage to LeBron James. We all wait to find out where LeBron James is going and how it's going to impact everything and everybody. I want to start, if I could, Darnell, with how the Thunder is tied up in LeBron knots. Is it?
Some ways, I think. I don't think it's extremely tied up to LeBron. I think Pau Gasol, in some ways, is waiting to see where LeBron and Carmelo lands, maybe even Chris Bosh. But LeBron is the biggest domino of all the dominoes. So I think he is making everybody just sort of wait and cause everyone to be in a holding pattern right now. So I don't think the Thunder is any different in that regard. But, I was told today that Pau Gasol is looking at his own thing. He might not be waiting on LeBron and Melo. So who knows? I mean, this is all kind of rumors and innuendo at this point. You never know really what's true and what's not. But I do think LeBron has everyone held hostage at this point.
Anthony, I put on the script I sent out that Darnell has joined the Chris Sheridan Club. Darnell didn't know what I meant by that. What do you think I meant?
People that think it's a done deal, LeBron James is for sure going to Cleveland because Chris Sheridan is out there. He's saying it's been known for a few days now, and he is not backing off that claim. So I'm assuming that's what you meant.
Is that what you mean?
It is indeed what I meant.
Then if that's the case, then Chris Sheridan has joined my club because I've been on that since at least the fall.
No, you said it was a good idea. You didn't say it was a good idea. I can tell
you text messages that I've sent back and forth with Brian Windhorst, Mr. LeBron James, who I used to work with in Akron, that I'm telling him LeBron's going back to Cleveland. I said Cleveland was the front runner way back in November on the night that Cleveland won the draft lottery for, the third time in recent years. Got the number one pick. I text my friend Brian again. I said LeBron's going back to Cleveland. I think he's going back to Cleveland.
Darnell, with all due respect, you were acting on a hunch. It appears that Chris Sheridan is acting on information he's getting right now from inside or close to the decision. But on Colin Cowherd today, I heard a woman call up and offer this explanation, that LeBron James would be going back to Cleveland because his wife is pregnant with their first daughter, and she wants to be near family for this pregnancy. Guys, everybody's got their sources. Darnell, what was yours to start off with?
Kyrie Irving. He wasn't my source, but he is the reason. I mean, the guy has the potential to be the best point guard in the league in a few years, and you just don't pass up playing with a talent like him. They get Tristan Thompson, they get Dion Waiters, they get Anthony Bennett. Say what you will about Anthony Bennett, but the collection of talent that Cleveland has is much, much better than whatever Miami is doing right now with Pat Riley, getting Josh McRoberts and Danny Granger, an aging Dwayne Wade, a stretch four basically, and Chris Bosh playing farther and farther away from the basket as opposed to closer to it. So I think the parts in Cleveland are much better than whatever Miami or LeBron could return to in Miami. So to me, it's a no-brainer. You'd want to play not just next year, but the next 4 or 5 years with a cast like he would have in Cleveland as opposed to what he'd return to in Miami.
Anthony, to say nothing of this 3 out of 4 number one overall picks in the lottery. I mean, I can't understand why David Stern's been raked over the coals for allegedly freezing an envelope that allowed the Knicks to get Patrick Ewing when the NBA has, since LeBron left, delivered 3 number one overalls to the Cavs. No cry of conspiracy on that. However, what's interesting about it too is it's also created the opportunity maybe to go get Kevin Love. What's more attractive to LeBron, or more realistic maybe? The fact that they would use Andrew Wiggins to go get Kevin Love, or the idea that he would be playing with this year's number 1 overall pick?
I would think it would be to go get a more established guy like Love, because, I mean, if he goes to this Cleveland team, and in a lot of ways I do agree with Darnell where, their roster set now, it's more talented, but he's going to a team that basically has 0 playoff experience, that they were like fighting in the locker room and stuff last year. They win 35 games. So I think, and it's even been reported that they've talked to LeBron's camp about maybe, shipping something to get Kevin Love in, although Kevin Love's never played in a playoff game. But I would think that is appealing. Plus, another thing you got to remember this whole thing, it's actually kind of funny, is if LeBron goes to Cleveland, the Cavs have Miami's pick next year, and if LeBron goes to Cleveland, that could be a high lottery pick from Miami, and that's from the LeBron deal 4 years ago. So that could be, top 5 pick next year. Cleveland does have a lot of assets, but you'd think he would want some vets that have been in the playoffs before to come along with him. That's where the Ray Allen thing comes in, the Mike Miller rumor, and some of those other things.
Darnell, the I forgive you model is out there in front of everybody. Daniel, the owner of the Cavs, who wrote the letter that got ripped down from the Cavs website, LeBron James, who allegedly left his hometown, his hometown's Akron, but left Cleveland in a huff on the decision. Now this is a chance for everybody to forgive, forget, and go on. How much do you think that is driving this engine of LeBron James maybe back to Cleveland?
Yeah, I don't think it is nearly what we've kind of made it out to be in the media as fans. I think that based on what you believe, they buried that hatchet a long time ago. And I don't think that LeBron is still holding it over Dan Gilbert's head that the way that breakup was so public, and Dan Gilbert's Comic Sans that he put on Cavs.com. I just don't think that that's going to stop LeBron from making the best basketball and business decision. I just really think that he's looking at where he can win the most championships, and to me, that place would be Cleveland. He could go to a place like maybe Los Angeles, a team with Kobe Bryant, maybe another star. He could go to Chicago and team with Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah, but all of those situations have question marks, and Cleveland does as well. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't. Slater brings up some good points. Those guys are inexperienced. They've never been to the playoffs, but any team he steps on is going to be an instant title contender, and I think he's going to elevate the games of everyone around him, and so Cleveland to me makes the most sense.
Full disclosure, guys, we need to share this with readers. Anthony, a Miami Heat fan from when he was a wee lad. Darnell cut his teeth in this profession, not far from Cleveland, working for the Akron Beacon Journal. Is that right? I got the name of the paper right, Darnell?
Akron Beacon Journal, that's right.
What is it in the water in Akron that produces so many NBA writers? Brian Windhorst, Chris Broussard, Darnell Mayberry. Am I forgetting someone?
Your man Chris Thomason, who I believe you're high on. He's actually now covering the Minnesota Vikings, but he was a longtime NBA writer. So the list is long. I just think that it was a really good paper for a long time, and some really quality people up there to work with, and I think people were just attracted to him. So that's all it was.
And we hired Darnell, of course, from Akron. Proud to say that. Anthony, are you shedding a tear? Is the little Miami Heat fan inside you crying to get out?
We believe in Josh McRoberts, baby. He'll lead us.
Anthony, what about that? It looked like on one hand, Pat Riley was signing Josh McRoberts and Danny Granger as a way to entice LeBron James to staying. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers are clearing cap space by getting rid of Jarrett Jack and making it so that I think they cleared up more than $26 million in cap space yesterday. Who won that chess match?
I mean, the Cavs. McRoberts is a nice piece. Granger, as we saw in the playoffs in that Thunder Clipper series, seems like he's done. The one guy you got to throw in there, too, Shabazz Napier. Remember, that was supposed to be LeBron's favorite point guard in the draft, and the Heat ended up getting him. But the Heat didn't do enough. I just didn't think the Heat financially could do enough, really, just with Wade and Bosch kind of aging, but you know that they wanted their money. And the Cavs have these cheaper guys like Wiggins and these young pieces. And there's hometown team. Does he want redemption? This might just be a story of he wants redemption.
Or a max contract, or to play with better players. Darnell, let's close the LeBron conversation with this. Are there any lessons for Oklahoma City in the Cavs' conduct of 2010 or the Heat conduct of 2014 as they both tried to desperately hold on to something that was slipping away? I ask because, of course, the clock is ticking on Kevin Durant.
Yeah, if Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, and Kevin Durant all have opt-outs in their next contracts, don't ask them to opt out. You never know what's going to happen. The plan in Miami was for all those three guys to opt out and then, take less money. Then all of a sudden, everyone got to thinking. They said, hey, what's the best situation for me? Dwayne Wade passed up money thinking he was going to take a little less and get the band back together. Udonis Haslem did the same thing, but Chris Bosh started looking at Houston. LeBron James started looking apparently at Cleveland and some other places. So, if you're the Thunder, if you're going to give those opt-outs, don't ask them to opt out.
Anthony, chances that Chris Sheridan and Darnell are wrong?
I still think there's a little bit of a shot, although I thought yesterday was probably their best shot was Pat Riley getting in a room with them, and he didn't come out with a signature. Everything seems to be pointing towards Cleveland. There's all these internet conspiracies, and people are reading his website's HTML, which is going to be Cleveland colors and all this stuff. Everything seems to be pointing towards Cleveland, but I still think there's a tiny shot. How much he respects the Heat organization, respects Wade, Bosch. But, just everything, all the chess pieces are moving, and it seems like Bosch is, about to find his way in Houston. So, 95%. I don't want to put a percentage on it like some of the other guys are, but Cleveland is my guess, too.
Darnell, let's bring it back to the Thunder. Pau Gasol, he of the Gasol folks fame. Remember the tip-in, the non-box out by Serge Ibaka, Game 6 of the Western Conference first-round playoffs, the Thunder's first taste of big-time basketball done in by Pau Gasol. And now, lo and behold, all these years later, 5 years later, here it comes, possibility that he'd be joining the Thunder. Where do you put those odds?
I said in my last two chats that I'd give it 35% chance that Pau Gasol joins the Thunder. I'm sticking with those odds, with that percentage. I still think, it's a long shot. I don't think that if the season started, when the season starts, I don't think Pau Gasol is going to be, if you ask me yes or no, is Pau Gasol going to be a member of the Thunder, I'd say no. So I think it's more likely that he goes to Chicago or San Antonio than he would come to Oklahoma City. But I do think the Thunder has a shot. I don't think that it's something that's a done deal. I think he's still trying to decide, but I think we're going to know soon, as in maybe even later today or tomorrow. I think it's coming down to the wire now, and I think we're going to hear something soon.
Anthony, I got asked this on the live chat. You guys have been asked incessantly the last couple of days, ever since the idea surfaced that Pau Gasol and the Thunder were talking. And the idea was this, that the Thunder was somehow being used as leverage for Pau Gasol against other suitors. That never made any sense to me. Consider this, the Thunder is one of the low bidders because of its salary cap situation. If anybody's got leverage against the Lakers, it would be Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher, Pau Gasol's former coach and teammate and champions. If there was any other leverage, it would be the Chicago Bulls and Derrick Rose and the urgent need for more scoring, especially more scoring close to the basket with the Bulls, let alone the idea that he could go to the Lakers and stay and play with Kobe, maybe Miami, maybe San Antonio. The leverage didn't ever seem to be on Oklahoma City's side. What is on Oklahoma City's side in this effort to try to get Pau Gasol?
I think the fit. I mean, he could come and play with these young up and tempo guys like a Durant, a Westbrook, and then he could play in the front court with Serge Ibaka, who is not only his national teammate but would fit perfectly as far as he could cover up some of Pau's deficiencies defensively. The Thunder really need what Powell has, which is, passing, a little mid-range game, some more offense in that front court. I think the fit is beautiful as far as on court, but does he want to live in the city? There's some stuff that popped up about from ESPN saying he was really peppering Scott Brooks about the cultural identity of the city and how it would fit, especially because he's from Barcelona, lived in LA. So that was an issue. And then obviously financially, like we've talked about, the Thunder are not. They just can't give him the money that some other teams can.
Darnell, short of renaming Lake Hefner into Hefner Ocean, what can Oklahoma City do in these last, again, up against the clock to convince Pau Gasol that this is a culturally diverse happening place?
I don't know. I don't think taking Pau Gasol to the Oklahoma City Memorial is going to be quite good enough.
Take him to Bricktown.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work either. One of those river rides. I don't think that's going to work. But he's just got to, if he's going to make the best basketball decision, I think it's going to be between Oklahoma City and San Antonio, because those are great fits for him from a basketball standpoint. But if he wants to live in a major metropolis, then he's probably going to go to Chicago, or stay with the Lakers. If the Lakers strike out on Carmelo and some other guys, Trevor Ariza, Luol Deng, there's a realistic chance that he could sign back with Los Angeles and stay in LA. So we're talking about the second and third largest markets. And Pau Gasol, obviously being from Spain, he seems like that's something he's interested in just as much, if not more, than winning. So I'm not sure that there's anything the Thunder can do.
That sounded really chilling, or actually really sounded like pessimistic when I read that about what he was quizzing him. But who knows the context of the conversation? Maybe he's not as interested in the opportunities for a culturally diverse place as that article led on. He's from Spain. He can go. He's a multimillionaire. He can get it wherever he wants at any time.
Played in Memphis.
His brother plays in Memphis, which,
he played in Memphis.
And he played in Memphis, absolutely.
Five
Beale Street, we don't have a Beale Street. Maybe the UCO Jazz Lab up in Edmond can help out and its expansion downtown. But what about the basketball fit? Darnell, you wrote the other day that a possibility of a trade between the Lakers and the Thunder, signing trade with Kendrick Perkins going to the Lakers, Pau Gasol coming to Oklahoma City. If Pau Gasol comes, how does that change the identity? How does that change Kendrick Perkins? What does that do for a team committed in every statement and every way to playing better defense?
Yeah, that's a close second on my list of reasons I'm really wanting to see that happen. Obviously, number one is from a basketball standpoint, I think it'll make the Thunder the favorite. But a close second is how are they going to handle Kendrick Perkins? This team has committed itself to Kendrick Perkins, gave him a nice hefty contract, even though it was relatively, cap friendly at the time, and it's not as expensive as some of these other deals. Channing Frye, by the way, gentlemen, $8 million a year in Orlando. So yes, he's a good offensive player, but $8 million for a shooter versus $9 million for one of the best low post defenders. I think you can throw that on top of the evidence that Kendrick Perkins has been good value for this team for a long time. But I think that they are going to have to trade him or amnesty him. Sam Presti has repeatedly said that they would not amnesty him, but I think if they got Pau Gasol, you'd really have to take a hard look at amnestying Kendrick Perkins or maybe trading him. I just don't see any way that Kendrick Perkins would fit on this team if they did get Pau Gasol.
Okay.
I will say, Sam Presti said, I can't foresee an opportunity where we would amnesty him, but I could see him then saying, well, I didn't see Pau as an opportunity, but now it's there, so we have to.
Guys, if they don't get Pau Gasol, what are plans B, C, D for the Thunder in free agency?
I think Anthony Morrow, if you don't get Mike Miller, and Mike Miller seems like he's kind of maybe even financially getting out of their reach. There's a report that he was close with Denver, and now he's back in contract discussions with Memphis. So if you can't get Miller, I think this team has to get another shooter. Anthony Morrow's one NBA skill is shooting. He averaged about 9 points in 18 minutes last year. Perfect guy to just throw in the game. If he gets hot, he can hit 5 threes. If he's not hot, pull him out. If somebody's going off on him, you throw Andre Roberson in. And apparently they're front runners, so I think that's the guy I think they need to go after, and I think they are going after it. I would guess that they're going to get him.
Darnell, is there somebody else out there not named Anthony Morrow?
I don't think so. I think that they're probably going to look at some other guys. They're not going to be sexy names, but I think at that point it would probably just be doing something just to do it, which this team generally does not do. So I don't think anything will happen, but I am pretty sure that they might have their eye on someone. But I just don't see anyone who's going to come in and help. I wrote about Andre Robertson potentially being the starting shooting guard next season. And the more I'm seeing him down here in Summer League, the more I'm warming up to the idea. I originally thought it was a terrible idea because the guy can't shoot. He's like a worse version of Thabo Cephalosha. Not nearly as the shooter and not as good a defender. Is a better rebounder and can do some things with that. But I just didn't see him being a really good fit as the starter. But I'm starting to warm up to it. He can really make an impact doing little things, hustle plays, winning plays that you need next to Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and Serge Ibaka. There's not going to be a lot of shots in that starting lineup, and Andre Robertson in some ways would be a really good fit.
Guys, beyond free agency with the Oklahoma City Thunder, there's free agency going on all around them. There's a lot of guys getting restricted free agents getting offers. Biggest ones, Gordon Hayward, a max deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Looks like Utah is going to match. Chandler Parsons, of course, I think it's somewhere around $15 million a season. He signed an offer sheet with the Mavericks. Lots of money flying around there for sort of second tier, maybe third tier players, which begs the question, Darnell, what will this mean to Reggie Jackson and the Thunder's ability to keep him?
More money, more money, more money. That's what it's going to mean for Reggie Jackson. The guys are going to get paid, whether it's this summer by the Thunder, and it would behoove the Thunder to get this done as soon as possible. It would not behoove Reggie Jackson and his camp to get it done at all this summer, unless they're fearful of injury or something like that. But with the amount of money that these guys are getting paid now, Reggie Jackson is going to cash in at some point, whether it's this summer or next summer in restricted free agency. There are going to be a lot of teams with a lot of cap space to come at Reggie Jackson, an explosive point guard with great size, great all-around skills. And guess what? The cap keeps going up, up, up. So, Reggie Jackson is going to command a lot of money.
Anthony, what's more likely, that Reggie Jackson finishes this next season with the Thunder, or he's a James Harden candidate, traded because the Thunder cannot come to an agreement with him before next season starts?
I think he'll finish next season with the Thunder because I think the Thunder they'll have more money. Perkins will be off the books, and I think they're more confident. Reggie Jackson's going to get a lot of money. I don't think he's going to get a max deal. So I think they're more confident they can sign him than they were ever confident that they could sign James Harden. But it's going to be a risk, especially how good he plays this next season. Can he up his value even more? Can he show he's a better defender? But I don't think he'll get traded before the season or during.
Okay, let's finish with Summer League takeaways. Darnell, you're there. Anthony, you're watching from afar. We'll start with you, Anthony. What's your takeaway so far through the Summer League schedule? The Thunder, of course, got one more game. I guess that's tomorrow, Darnell. Anthony, what's your takeaway?
I'm not going to say Mitch McGary because I'll let Darnell, wax poetic on his favorite player.
Hurry up so I can get to it.
I'll go Jeremy Lamb. He has not impressed. He's struggling with his shot, I think. At one point yesterday, he was 16 of 49 shooting in Summer League, 4 of 22 from 3. I understand it's basically like a spring game in college football, but you want to see more out of him. His shooting slump's kind of, gone over into Summer League. They went from James Harden, who's a great three-point shooter, to Kevin Martin, who's a great three-point shooter, and now Jeremy Lamb, who is supposed to be the shooter, and I just don't think he's going to be as good of a NBA shooter as those two. And the Summer League's kind of helped that point in my mind.
Hail to the victors, Darnell. Let's hear your takeaway.
Mitch McGary, future Hall of Famer. Get ready for him. He's taking Collison's minutes. He's taking Perry Jones's minutes. He might even take Serge Ibaka's minutes.
He's not taking Stone Cold's minutes.
He's taking Stone Cold's minutes.
Shit.
Mitch McGary is coming. Go Blue.
Darnell, you wrote about a play in which Mitch McGary got a rebound, dribbled down court, created an open shot, looked good, handling the ball. Is that the surprise for you? I mean, you watched him play a lot when he played at Michigan, but did you even see that when he played for the Wolver Dogs?
No, he didn't. He didn't do it to the level that he's doing it out here. He knows he's got a little bit more freedom, a lot more freedom now than he did playing on a team with 4 other NBA players: Trey Burke, Nick Stauskas, Glenn Robinson, and Tim Hardaway Jr. All those guys have been drafted and are now on NBA teams. So at times he was the 5th man on that Michigan Wolverines team as a freshman. And then as a sophomore, obviously he only played the 8 games. Now he did bring it up sometimes, and he showed some good ball handling skills at Michigan. But some of the things he's doing out here, guys, I mean, he's putting it behind his back on the break, using escape moves like that with his dribble to get away from defenders. And it's been really impressive. I was talking to Slater the other day, I guess on the podcast. On one of the escape dribbles, he looked like Blake Griffin, where he backed it out, put it between his legs a couple of times, and really got away from the defense. So I like what he's doing. He's showing a nice shot. He's showing some great passing ability and hustle, obviously. He can really hit the boards and do some things down low in the post. So I'm really high on Mitch McGary. I'm joking about whose minutes he's going to take. I don't think he's going to play. And I was joking with Scott Brooks about that yesterday. He asked me how many minutes he's going to play. I said he's going to be another one of your young guys in the doghouse. So we had a good laugh about that. But I really think the future is bright for Mitch McGary.
Thanks, Darnell. We're going to wrap up Thunder Thursdays with that. I think Anthony just got the phone call. He's going to break the story on where LeBron James is going because he had to interrupt the Thunder Thursday Hangout with it. That's all for this edition of Thunder Thursday, but you can stay with the best coverage team anywhere, every day at News OK and every morning in the Oklahoma. And, of course, Thunder Thursdays are brought to you by our friends at Wheeler Chevrolet. Take that drive down I-40, save yourself some time and money.